lives. And sometimes when you think of bench research, you don't realize that that is the impact it has. This support not only enables his research, it also allows him to continue his work with students. And right now, he has 14 students working in his lab. So when we hire a researcher at the University of Regina or a faculty member, we don't hire one person. We build a community of research, as Dr. Babu has done. And 14 people move here to work with him. So that investment in one faculty member is increased by professors, such as Dr. Babu, by tenfold. In this case, 14-fold, right? So he's working to build capacity in the next generation. He also shows a commitment to our institutional priorities as laid out in our strategic plan Piakaski Gigawi now, which means together we are stronger. In that plan, we highlight a commitment to our communities. His research is doing that. We highlight research impact. His research is doing that. We highlight a focus on student success. His work is doing that. We know that it's the invaluable support of our partners that help ensure our future success. Our federal government, our provincial government, our industry and community partners, and they enable us to contribute to our society in so many positive ways, now and in the future. So the university is not just about preparing leaders for the future and educating our youth. It is about saving lives. Dr. Babu, I, on behalf of all of us here, and all of the people that will be in the future impacted by your research endeavors, thank you and congratulate you. And Minister Goodale, on behalf of all of us here, we are so proud you are one of ours. And thank you for your continued and tireless support of post-secondary education in this country. Thank you all for coming today.
Thank you, President Timmons. Now for the star performance. Dr. Mohan Babu has received this grant. It's entitled Essential Gene Landscape of a Bacterial Cell for Combinatorial Drug Discovery. So without further ado, Mohan, friend and colleague, please come up and address.
Thanks, Dave. So good morning, everyone. So first of all, I thank Minister Goodale and Dr. Timmons and Dr. Malloy and other dignitaries who can make this event to happen today. First of all, I cannot talk like Minister Goodale, but I'm a researcher. I'll just try to make it as simple as possible. So my research actually, I'm really happy, first of all, for the CHR for providing this funding consistently. I also thank my family, especially my wife who joined us today, and also my daughter who cannot make it today. She's feeling sick. But also, most importantly, my lab colleagues who is here in the audience here, and without them, I think I wouldn't have established this wonderful research program. So I'm very thankful to all of them. So this funding from CHR is really critical and it's very timely because, as you all know, bacteria is evolving and it's becoming resistant to many antibiotics. So this is a very serious concern to the health system because there's millions of dollars being invested every year towards this cause. So understanding this antibiotic resistance needs some innovative strategies, so which we have developed in my lab. We call them as an Ecoli genetic technology. So the idea here is that, in a simple layman terms, I would say bacterial genes, especially in E. coli, which is a very good system to study in the lab environment, you have about 4,000 genes. So what we are looking here is actually, in a combinatorial way, 16 million genetic interaction pairs, we call them, to understand how genes, not just in isolation, but how they actually work together. So once you understand how these bacterial genes are actually working together in a systems-wide manner, you can figure out what those therapeutic targets are. So in bacteria, especially in Ecoli, you have about 300 essential genes, which means if you remove those essential genes, the bacteria cannot survive. So we have developed some innovative technology, which you can see here in the slide here. This is just to demonstrate that how these bacterial genes are actually working together. So here we just took one essential gene, and actually we conjugated or mated them with the remaining 300 essential genes in bacteria, and if they are actually working together, you would see the cell being dead. So you can see that all the dead colonies is shown in this kind of square bracket there. Those are dead E. coli colonies. That suggests that the two genes are actually in the cell are working together. So once you identify those genes, and then you can actually therapeutically target them by screening them against FDA-approved drugs. So we are planning to screen over the 5-year period roughly about 1,000 FDA-approved inhibitors. So this will allow us to identify how these drugs are actually being targeted by these essential genes. And once we do that, then we can bring these therapeutic targets, and then we can work with the clinicians and develop some clinical trials by first testing them in mice, and then slowly moving to the clinic. So this is the overall arching goal of this 5-year funding from CHR. So the University of Regina have consistently supported my endeavors, and also they have provided enough infrastructure to establish my research program. And as I move forward, I'm going to expand and attract and retain and train as many highly qualified personnel as possible, and bringing in more cutting-edge research into Regina, and making this Regina as a very competitive university to compete with other leading institutions to attract more funding. This is one of my main goals as I move forward. And also I would like to work along with my industrial partners and also biomedical researchers and clinicians in Regina and also elsewhere, outside of province and also outside of Canada, and so that we can move forward the therapeutic targets that we identify from our E. coli system into clinical trials. So with that, I once again thank Minister Goodale and Dr. Timmons and other dignitaries for making the time today to make this event happen. I also thank Krista Bellico and Costa Margos, who joined us today. Without that, this event wouldn't have happened. So once again, I thank you all for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Well, Mohan, I have another project for you. I wonder if you could work on cloning yourself. If we could do that, then that would be great for our bottom line at the university. Thank you, Mohan. That concludes the formal part of our presentation. Next, we're going to have pictures taken, and after those pictures are finished, then our guests will be available for interviews with the press. Everyone, please stay. We've got some goodies over there on to your left. And thank you so much for coming to this wonderful announcement, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.